Forget fancy cars and private jets. The real treasures of Larry Page, Google's co-founder and tech mastermind, aren't material. They're the business tactics that catapulted a dorm room idea into a world-dominating empire. From search algorithms to flying cars, Page's playbook is packed with gems for both aspiring entrepreneurs and seasoned veterans. So, buckle up, because we're diving deep into the business wisdom of one of the most innovative minds of our time. Hello business minds and entrepreneurs, welcome back to Business Mind Talks channel. Today, we're cracking his code, extracting the golden nuggets of business advice that powered his rise. First, think big and dare to dream.
So it's great to be here. I want to talk about dreams for a second. And in my case, literally a dream. When I was in college, I was sure that I'd been admitted by a clerical error, probably a computer error. And because of that, I had an irrational fear I'd be sent home on the bus. And Sergey here knows this is true. But it turns out, because of that anxiety, I woke up literally with a dream. And it was kind of a strange dream. It went like, I think I could download the entire web onto some old computers that were lying around. And that would probably seem pretty crazy to most people, but I stayed up a couple hours in the middle of the night doing some math, and it seemed actually pretty plausible. While assuming you actually didn't keep any of the web pages. You only kept the links. And then, sort of figured out, given all that data, I thought it would take a couple of weeks. And I told my advisor that. And he just sort of laughed at me. And of course, it took him a year or two. But at the end of that, we had a way to rank web pages. And no thoughts to search at all. And eventually, search entered the picture. And you know the rest. And that became Google.
Page doesn't settle for incremental improvements. He craves the impossible, the moonshots that sound like sci-fi but have the potential to change the world. His message? Don't be afraid to dream big, to chase the seemingly crazy ideas that spark your curiosity. Second, embrace the user, not the algorithm.
Think about a lot, and our mission we defined a long time ago is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. And people always say, is that really what you guys are still doing? And I always kind of think about that myself, and I'm not quite sure. But actually, when I think about search, it's such a deep thing for all of us. To really understand what you want, to understand the world's information. And we're still very much in the early stages of that, which is totally crazy. We've been at it for 15 years already, but it's not at all done.
Page understands that technology is just a tool. The real magic lies in understanding your users, their needs, their desires. He built Google on the principle of putting user experience first, before monetization or market share. Third, build a culture of innovation, not bureaucracy.
So I think in general this doesn't actually happen. People are not innovating in business. They're innovating, they're generally innovating in business and not technology. This is because often doing the technological innovation requires broad understanding of both the business and the technology, and the marketing and all the other things you need to do. There aren't very many good examples. So when we started Google, people said, oh, you build a better search engine. Why will that be good enough? And we said, well, we think people will care and they'll use our site and so on. And a lot of people laughed at us, and a few people were nice enough to fund us, right? But there weren't that many examples of companies that are really founded on innovation and not, not just on, pure business techniques or something like that. Also, companies generally don't innovate that much, and I guess as Google's gotten bigger, we're almost 400 people now. It's you sort of notice this as you get more and more people working on one thing, it's harder and harder for them to be innovative, just because the communications cost and the inertia and all those kinds of things. And most companies end up being marketing or sales driven and not engineering driven. So let me just give another example quickly. There's a thing I call the technology trend bandwagon, and technology companies specifically get all really excited about various standards like, XML or .NET or Corba or any of the things I have listed here. And in fact, they're kind of like plumbing. If you had, for example, do you really care if you have copper plumbing in your house or plastic plumbing? Well, maybe one's a little bit quieter, a little bit cheaper, or so on. Maybe the water tastes better with copper. But there's pretty minor differences. And much of the things that the technology industry really gets excited about don't actually affect users very much. And in fact, you can ask, does this really affect programmers very much? Does anyone really care? People generally get excited about things that don't matter. I'll give you one other quick example. If you go to Fry's and you buy a flatbed scanner, every month you go to Fry's, it'll have like twice the resolution, and they're up to about 2,400 dots per inch. And if you've never played with one of these, it can actually image every dot of ink on your paper, and you can see that the dots of ink are round and things like that, and you can see every grain of fiber in the paper. That's not tremendously useful. And it turns out, as a result, the scanners are really, really slow. And in fact, if you challenge you to go to Fry's and find any scanner that says how long it takes to scan something. And the reason is, if it's set on the box, less people would buy it, right? Because it'll say like 3 minutes to scan a page. And in fact, what people probably care about is to scan, with reasonable quality quickly. And actually, no one's built a product like that. There's probably, a good market for a product like that marketed correctly. So I think a lot of things end up being, you end up focused on one very specific thing and not looking at what users want.
H is allergic to corporate rigidity. He thrives in environments where ideas can flow freely, where failure is seen as a learning experience, not a career ender. His message: create a culture that fosters creativity, risk-taking, and a healthy dose of playful experimentation.
But wait, before we proceed, I will ask you a question. Are you ready to take control of your financial future? If yes, introducing Cash Flow Academia. The ultimate online course designed to unlock the secrets of financial success. Discover the art of budgeting like never before, learn investment strategies that can supercharge your savings, and unravel the mysteries of building a financial legacy. Cash Flow Academia is not just a course, it's your roadmap to financial empowerment. Don't miss out on the opportunity to secure your financial future. Click the link below. Enroll now.
And number 4, don't be afraid to pivot, to fail, to start again.
One of the things that I'd been through as a student was some leadership training, and one of the things they taught us was to not be afraid of failure, and instead to have the goal to fail a lot quickly, and then eventually you'll succeed. And I sort of took this to heart, and they also had a slogan called "Healthy Disregard for the Impossible." And they actually made you write down sort of the things you would do that were kind of impossible, but you thought you might really accomplish. And that's really stuck with me in everything that I've tried to do. And I think, it was very, very close that we wouldn't have started the company. And I think there are many of you out there in sort of similar situations. Do you want to take a little bit more risk? Do you want to try something out? And, even if you don't succeed, we actually tried many things that didn't work. Google happened to work pretty well, but there are many things that we did that didn't, but we don't worry about those, right? Because we tried many things. So I just encourage you to take a little more risk in life, and I think if you do it often enough, it will really pay off.
Page knows that success doesn't come in a straight line. He's had his fair share of failures, from Google Wave to Google+. But he doesn't shy away from them. He embraces them as learning opportunities, as stepping stones on the path to something bigger. Larry Page's business wisdom is more than just a set of tips, it's a philosophy for living. It's about embracing the unknown, about challenging the status quo, and about using technology to make the world a better place. So, go forth, entrepreneurs, dreamers, and changemakers. Take inspiration from the Silicon Valley maverick and write your own chapter in the book of business innovation. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more video updates.